Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our very first episode of Morning Cigar Talks. I'm Sean with the smoking section. Welcome. Now, this is not going to be a live video. These are just going to be little short, maybe 15, 20-minute videos, depending on how they go. It's just some things that I wind up having on my mind as I wind up, working throughout the day. How I wind up just trying to come up with new material for different things. And I had a couple questions for everybody today, and these were just some things that I was thinking about. And while I could just kind of sit down and have a nice cup of coffee, I figured I would talk to everybody and just kind of find out some different things, uh, things that I want to know, things on how I handle it. So I figured I would do a first episode of this. Now, I want to let everybody know the morning cigar talks are probably going to be on Friday mornings. Probably around like the 8 to 9 o'clock hour, only because of the sheer fact that I'm usually off on Fridays. I do work a full-time job Monday through Thursday, and I'm usually off on Fridays because I get my 40 hours done Monday through Thursday. But first question I want to ask everybody, and it's my main point for today, is how do you guys set up your humidors? And what I mean by that is basically, so for me, I have 4 different humidors that I have going at one time. Now, a lot of the humidors that I have 2 big ones and 2 smaller ones that I keep up, and they look a lot like this. So basically, I have all of my cigars set inside there, and this box right here I have in the smoking section because these are going to be the cigars that I wind up doing either a live stream on, or I wind up doing just a short mini cigar review series on. But a lot of the times, I like to try and keep everything that I have somewhat organized. And I'd love to know from you guys, how do you guys have your humidor set up? Does it just whatever you guys buy, they just go in it? Do you just have one giant humidor? Do you have a couple different ones going on at the same time? So these are just things that I like to find out. Now, for my humidors, a lot of times, and I know it's kind of what would you say, controversial, whether or not you want to use the Bovita packs or just the humidor little sponge inside. For me, I wind up going with both. For my bigger humidors, I wind up doing the little sponge with the distilled water, and for some of my smaller boxes, I wind up using the Bovita packs. Now, I have not had a problem with any of my cigars the way that I wind up keeping my humidors in. But it's just something that I really wanted to kind of ask everybody. Now, you're probably wondering, why do I have my cigars set up one way and then, have them set up a different way? Basically, I wanted to see how everything would react versus the Bovita pack and the sponge with the distilled water. Now, a lot of times I will keep my cigars right around like the 69 to 70 percent humidity range for my humidors, and it's just a nice range for me. I don't like a cigar that has too much moisture in it, and then I hate when my cigars crack and fall apart as I'm starting to smoke them. And for me, 69 to 70 is a really, really great temperature for me. Now, when I go ahead and I have my cigars in my humidor, a lot of times I will, like I said, I'll put the ones that I know that I want to smoke right away, I will put them in a separate humidor just to kind of give me a little bit of a guidance on, I know that these are the new cigars that I wanted to try first. And a lot of the cigars that I've already smoked, or things that I've stocked up on, or things that I've had a box of, and it's just an overflow, I'll try and keep in my bigger humidors just to try and, keep everything somewhat organized. It's not necessarily a bad thing with that, but just that's for me. I don't really know how else everybody wants to go about with their humidors. Some people, they only have one humidor, so they just kind of throw everything in there, and when it starts getting low, then they know, all right, I'm going to go back out and start trying to get some more filled up on my humidor. But for me, it's just I have so many cigars because I try purchasing new things to try. I do have my cigars that I love going towards, such as like the Clown by Danley Honduras Tobacco, which is a double Maduro, which is absolutely my top 100, top 5, top 3, whatever you want to call it. It's my favorite cigar of all times. Um, I really enjoy that cigar, and I know that whenever I buy them, I usually only get them at about a 5 pack at a time, just because the boxes are kind of pricey. I think the box of 15 or 20 is about like $206 plus shipping. So it's a little more than I want to spend for a whole box of cigars. And as much as I love them, I really don't want to spend that much money just for me to kind of sit on them. And especially with me doing the cigar reviews, I'd rather open up my humidors for some new product or, some new cigars to me that I can definitely come out and bring forth. Um, but for me, I never really wind up going too far in advance when it comes to any of my humidors, when it comes to filling those with just the same cigar or the same brand. I love having different brands in my humidor, because to me, every time I open up my humidor, it's always an experience. Um, as much as I know that I love all the cigars that I'm buying or I haven't tried them yet, I definitely want to keep some different brands in my cigar humidors just because I always love having that variety. As much as I have cigars that I really enjoy, I will keep a few of those on hand, but usually those are the ones that I wind up smoking when I'm not doing a video. If I go to a party, if I go to an event, those are the ones that I bring with me because A, they're the ones that I really love, or B, they're just the ones that I really gravitate towards, which will bring me into my next question for everybody. Um, how much would you be willing to pay for a cigar? So, this is a very controversial question that I've found. Working at a cigar store, a lot of times I'll have people that come in and say, I want a really good gift for somebody. I want it to be a really good cigar. And I think everybody knows the cigar that I'm going to bring up at this point, and that would be the Padron 1964. Now, that cigar can range anywhere from, $16 if it goes on sale somewhere up to about $20 a stick. Now, there's also ones out there like the LFD that has a 25th anniversary edition that goes on the higher end of about $23 to $25 a stick. The one that I'm planning on smoking later for a mini cigar review series is I'll bring it on, the Cohiba Nicaraguan series, which for me, this was a $20 stick. Now, I wound up getting that with a little bit of a discount just because I work at a cigar store. It was one of the ones that I got over at Holtz. I did a little bit of talking with everybody, and they wound up, kind of bringing the price down a little bit. So it wound up being a $16 stick for me. But something like that, that's something that I will probably, I will smoke multiple of these, but only in a certain amount of time. Once I do this one, I will probably wait a month or two before I wind up getting another one. Something like the LFD, the Andalusian Bull, is one of my all-time favorites from LFD, and that goes for anywhere from $16 to $19 as well. So I mean, you're really getting up there versus the common stick that is anywhere from about $10 to $14. So what is something that you guys would be willing to pay for a cigar? Now, would you be willing to pay a little bit more for a cigar that winds up, being a good experience? Would you be willing to try a more expensive cigar just to see what the hype is about? For me, it's never really been about price. Now, there are cigars that I will try and I will take that bite, I guess, out of my wallet just to try it. So versus buying 2 sticks, I'll buy 1 stick and see how it is. But would you guys be willing to spend that much money on a cigar? For me, if I can get a good experience out of the cigar, it's usually a well-deserved price tag, I guess you'd say. A lot of the times I will try a cigar once and I will pay the price for it. And if it's a great cigar, then I wind up putting that in my little book of good cigars to try. But if I don't really like it, I'll still put it in my book that I tried it, the reasons why. But then I probably won't go back to it for a little bit, kind of like I did with the Alec Bradley Magic Toast. If anybody watched the live video that I did or was it a live or was it a yeah, I think it was a live. I've been doing a lot of videos, so it's kind of hard to keep track. But when I wound up smoking the Alec Bradley Magic Toast for the second time, it was a better experience for me because I wound up cutting it differently. Um, the first time I smoked the Alec Bradley Magic Toast, I wound up punching it. And for me, the cigar was very oily and it wound up plugging up my hole pretty good. No jokes on that, by the way. but it wound up, really being a bad experience for me with the first time that I smoked it. So I really hadn't picked it up for quite some time. But then when I wound up picking it up again, I wound up doing a I have it right here. I wound up doing a cat's eye cut on it, and it really opened up the bottom of it, and it really didn't seem like I was plugging that often, and it wound up actually equalizing a lot of the oil in there that it didn't come out in one big clump. It wound up really passing through the cigar quite nicely, and it wasn't an overbearing oiliness that was on it. So for me, that was a really, really awesome experience to be able to not have a good experience with it at first, but then turning around, giving it a second try, and then being able to do something different to make it better for me on the second try. So a little bit off topic, but I mean, it's for me, if I have a really bad experience or not a grand experience for the price tag that goes along with that cigar, um, I will pick it up again. I never just give like a cigar a one time chance and then be done. I will pick it up again on a second try just to see if I could do something better with it, just to see if I can do something different with it. Um, it's for me a really great experience to be able to have a bad experience and then pick it up later and be like, I remember when I had that cigar the first time and I didn't really like it. So let me see what I can do differently and see if it's still going to have the same effect. Because we all know that, cigar shops aren't perfect. A lot of times you might find that the cigar might get neglected a little bit. You might find that it might be old stock and they're just trying to get rid of it. And that could really influence your experience with that cigar. So I never want to give that cigar a bad name right off the bat. And I don't really give any cigar a bad name. I might just say, this one wasn't for me, but it's something that you might be able to enjoy if you really like this, and this about it. So for me, that's kind of how I feel about, the price tag of a cigar. Um, whenever I have a good experience with a cigar, it's usually something that I will remember for a very long time. And a lot of times I will use a more expensive cigar for a nice experience with something. Whether it be a graduation, a friend of mine got married, I'm getting married, something to that effect. Um, I usually use the higher price tag cigars to wind up kind of helping to capture that moment, I guess. A lot of times that I will say the Padron 1964 is a cigar that I will always, recommend for somebody's father's birthday that just turned 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever the milestone might be. If you're getting a bachelor party together or a bachelorette party, I never want anybody to think that I discriminate because women smoke cigars too. But I will usually always, have that cigar as a nice cigar to wind up being that memorable cigar that has a great taste. It's a great product. And even though the price is a little bit more, you're going to remember that cigar. That's going to be the cigar that helps you maintain that memory that you're starting with. So, I mean, for me, it sometimes it doesn't always boil down to the price tag because there have been times that I've paid a pretty hefty sum for a really great cigar, supposedly, and I just didn't get that great experience that I thought that that price tag was going to bring with it. Um, a lot of times I find that I have a better experience with a cigar that's going to be right in that reasonable range of, anywhere from 10 to 14, even $15 a cigar, a cigar. So, don't always let the price tag judge what the cigar is going to turn out like, because there are a lot of other cigar brands out there that are reasonably priced that can run with the big dogs. So just keep that in mind. But I do want to know, how much would you guys be willing to pay for a cigar? I think that that is a great question to ask. And, I'd like to see where everybody kind of lands with that, because if I just bring on cigars that are, a big ticket item, which I would never do, by the way, but if I do bring cigars on that are a big ticket item, I would like to know if you guys really would like to try those cigars. Um, a lot of times people kind of stay away from the big ticket items just for the sheer fact of they don't want to put out that much money when they could buy two cigars for the price of the one. So, I mean, I thought that was a good question, and it was something that I really kind of wanted to, get together with you guys with and have this nice morning cigar talk with because I figured that that was an important question to ask. And I just realized that I didn't create a banner for this, but my last question that I would like to ask is if you smoke indoors, do you, and I guess I could do that real quick, do you use a candle? So, there we go. So let's ask that. So whenever you guys smoke inside, if you smoke inside, do you guys use a candle? Now the candle that I use right here is the Smoke Odor Extreme Candle. It's got a cute little design on it, some Day of the Dead skulls on it. Um, I've really found that even with the uh, odorizer that I have over here from Renfo, that as much as that does take care of a lot of it, I still don't want just that musty smell of dead smoke whenever I'm done. As soon as I walk into the smoking section, I don't like having that real, punch in the face odor that can kind of come with it. So do you guys use a candle whenever you guys smoke? Does it help you? Does it help whatever situation you're in when it comes to, are you allowed to smoke in your house? Are you not allowed to smoke in your house? If you do smoke in your house, but you're not allowed to smoke in your house, does it kind of help mask that smell to kind of get away with being able to do so? I never have smoked in my house before. So it was really a cool experience to be able to be in, not freeze my butt off, and be able to be in here and not have to worry too much about my whole house stinking with the Renfo odorizer and the candle that I have as well. So for me, that was a really great experience, and it was just something that I wanted to know if you guys wind up doing when you smoke indoors, if you smoke indoors. But that would just be kind of everything that I wanted to bring to you guys today. Just some food for thought, I guess you'd say, on this snowy Monday. I am off from work today, so that's why I'm doing this first episode of Monday or morning cigar talks, I should say. But like I said, this is probably going to be a new series for me. It's going to be right on, like I said, that 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning on Fridays, and I'm going to try and put one of these videos together. They're just going to be little short series. Like I said, it's not going to be a big to do. It's not going to be anything that's really jumping off the page at you. Just some food for thought, and maybe a question that I wind up having or that I want to know is something that you hadn't thought about either. And it could really kind of open up your doors as well on different things like would I ever really pay $20 for a cigar, or how do I set up my humidors? Maybe I should try and put the ones that I really want to smoke first to the side and keep everything else in a different one. So that was just kind of my little video for today. I figured that I would get something out for today because I wanted to try and take advantage of my recording software that I'm very, very happy with. And I figured I would start out with a good cup of coffee and good conversation. So I hope everybody has a great Monday. If you didn't get hit with snow, good for you. If you did get hit with snow, I hope that everybody's staying safe and wind up being really, really careful if you do have to go out today. And I just hope that everybody has a great rest of the week. Don't forget, I will be doing a mini cigar review series today on the YouTube channel that I will be posting a video to shortly. And also, I do a live cigar review on Wednesday that you guys can see on Facebook and YouTube, which brings me up to my little title screen. You can follow me on YouTube and on Facebook. I am, obviously, you'll be seeing this on YouTube, so give it a check out. And I also do the live stream on YouTube and Facebook, thanks to StreamYard. I can do both at the same time. So if you don't want to miss anything, you don't like YouTube, but you have Facebook or vice versa, you can check us out whenever you get the chance. But with that being said, everybody, good morning. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks for watching. And as always, stay blessed, stay smoking, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a great rest of the week. And from the smoking section, I'm Sean, signing off. Take it easy, everybody. Have a great day.